Less than a week after the juveniles in the Ooltewah rape case were sentenced in Sevier County, the case of the player's former coach comes up again. Good evening, I'm Calvin Snake.
And I'm Latricia Thomas. News Channel 9's Catherine Marchand tells us how the state's top attorney has now weighed in.
Former head coach Andre Montgomery was not in the courtroom this morning, but his attorney Curtis Bowe was there on his behalf. The last time Montgomery was in court, Bowe argued that the statute Montgomery's accused of violating was too vague, and Bowe was instructed to notify the state attorney general.
On State versus Andre Montgomery.
A month and a half later, the Tennessee Attorney General's opinion is in. Filed in a brief signed by the Hamilton County DA, the AG's office says the law is clear enough to move forward in the case against former boys basketball coach Andre Montgomery.
It's a very uphill battle for the defendant.
Lawyer Robin Flores says challenging the language of a statute like Montgomery's attorney is trying to do is not an easy task. Curtis Bowe argues that his client shouldn't be facing charges for failing to report child abuse because the mandatory reporting law is too ambiguous. But the DA's response says Bowe's claims of vagueness, quote, have no merit. Flores says he's not surprised.
And that's rare. That's incredibly rare. I've never seen a successful challenge to that.
Montgomery's attorney claims the statute, number one, doesn't make it clear that child-on-child abuse must be reported, and number two, doesn't clearly define where violations should be reported. But the response says the defendant, quote, was on perfect notice that child-on-child conduct can be classified as child sexual abuse, and that the defense's complaint, quote, runs counter to the plain language of the statutes.
May I digest this to a response?
Even though the AG is backing the current law, we've already heard from juvenile judge Rob Filia and several state lawmakers that this case sheds light on a law that may need clarification. Catherine Marchand, News Channel 9.
Montgomery's attorney asked the judge to push back today's hearing before making a final decision to give him time to review Pinkston's response. The judge scheduled the next court date for November 22nd.